Something unusual happened in the skies over the Persian Gulf on Monday, and as of now, no one in Washington has explained it. Open-source flight monitors reported that 2 U.S. aerial refueling aircraft may have declared emergencies within hours of each other near the Strait of Hormuz, but Reuters and AP have not independently confirmed that sequence. Open-source trackers said both transmitted squawk 7700, appeared to alter course, and then dropped out of civilian flight tracking, which by itself does not establish what happened next. At this stage, there is no official confirmation from the United States Air Force, CENTCOM, or any regional aviation authority that either aircraft crashed, was attacked, or was shot down. But the lack of a public U.S. explanation, combined with reports of 2 distress signals in rapid succession during one of the most volatile periods in the Gulf, is raising questions that are not going away. The first incident involved what open-source aviation monitors identified as a KC-46A Pegasus, one of the U.S. Air Force's primary aerial refueling platforms. Independent flight trackers said the aircraft transmitted squawk 7700, the International General Emergency Code, while crossing Saudi airspace at medium altitude. Open-source monitors said the aircraft had been operating near the Strait of Hormuz before the emergency signal appeared. After the distress signal, the aircraft vanished from civilian radar. Some open-source monitors said they could not verify whether the aircraft reached its destination after the signal was lost. But it is important to note that military aircraft routinely disappear from public tracking systems, particularly in high-risk operational zones for security reasons. The disappearance alone does not confirm anything. Then it happened again. Separate reports said a second U.S. Air Force tanker, identified online as a KC-135, also transmitted squawk 7700 after operating near the Strait of Hormuz. Open-source tracking accounts said the aircraft then appeared to descend and turn toward Qatar. Shortly after, it too disappeared from radar. Whether the tanker landed safely or encountered further complications during its descent remains unclear. Online trackers also noted helicopter activity near Al-Udeid around the same time, though there has been no official confirmation that it was connected. 2 tankers, 2 emergency codes, both tied to the same operational zone, both gone from tracking within hours of each other. Iran has released footage it says shows its forces firing on United States Navy destroyers near the Strait of Hormuz, not small arms, not flares. According to the IRGC, the footage shows missiles, rockets, and drones fired during a confrontation with U.S. destroyers, a claim the United States denies. The footage has been circulating across Iranian state media and has not been independently verified by Reuters or AP. The United States has flatly denied that any attack took place. But the video exists. Tehran is broadcasting it, and it appears to show projectiles streaking across the horizon over open water. Whether those projectiles came anywhere near an American vessel is the question at the center of yet another information confrontation at Hormuz. But what Iran claims happened before the footage was recorded is where the story gets more serious.
As a failure of the United States government to fulfill its commitment in the negotiations, the Islamic Republic of Iran declares the Strait of Hormuz completely closed again. No vessel of any type or nationality is allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Any vessel intending to exit the Strait of Hormuz that cross the red line between CENTCOM Island and Mina Sagat port, and any vessel intending to enter the Strait of Hormuz that cross the red line between Kuh Mubarak and Fujairah port will be met with a severe response from the IRGC Navy and will be destroyed. This is Sepah Navy. Out.
According to Iran's military, the confrontation began when U.S. destroyers moved toward the strait through the Sea of Oman. Iran claims the vessels attempted what it described as a stealth approach, switching off their radar systems as they advanced toward waters Tehran says fall under its security control. Tehran says its forces were watching the entire time. Iranian naval forces say that once the systems came back online, they moved from tracking to a direct warning posture. Radio warnings were issued: clear, direct, and repeated. Stay away. Do not enter. Do not test the ceasefire. Iran says those warnings were ignored, and that is when, according to Tehran's account, the situation escalated from tracking to what it says was firing. Whether the US destroyers actually switched off their radars, whether they received the warnings, and whether any weapons were fired in their direction are all claims that rest entirely on Iranian state sources. CENTCOM has not confirmed any element of that sequence. Across the water, Washington tells a completely different story. US officials have denied that any attack, warning shot, or confrontation took place. CENTCOM posted on X that no US Navy vessel had been attacked and confirmed that American forces were actively supporting Project Freedom, the operation launched by President Trump to escort stranded commercial ships through the waterway. This is not the first time Iran has made dramatic claims about confrontations with US naval assets that Washington then denied. The pattern is now familiar. Iran releases footage or statements describing a confrontation. The United States denies it entirely. And the truth appears to settle into the space between the two accounts, where neither side has publicly produced proof the other accepts. The significance of the aircraft involved matters. KC-46A and KC-135 tankers are not combat jets. They are the logistical backbone of American air operations in the Gulf. Without aerial refueling, fighter jets and bombers cannot sustain extended missions over Iranian airspace or the Strait. If either aircraft was lost or damaged, it would not just be an operational setback. It would be a direct hit on the infrastructure that makes sustained US air power in the region possible. That is why reports of 2 tankers declaring emergencies in the same zone on the same day, while Project Freedom is active and Iran is making dramatic claims at Hormuz, are not being dismissed online as routine. The tanker incidents unfolded on the same day. Iran's military escalated its messaging across the board. Iranian state media carried claims that the IRGC had already opened fire on multiple US combat vessels in the Strait, an account CENTCOM flatly denied. Iranian outlets carried fresh warnings that foreign military forces approaching the Strait would be treated as targets, though that rhetoric has not always been matched by independently verified battlefield evidence. Iran also broadcast a declaration claiming the Strait was effectively closed again, though Reuters and AP have not independently confirmed that operational posture. The atmosphere in and around Hormuz on Monday was one of multiple overlapping confrontations, some confirmed, some denied, and some sitting in the space between the two where the tanker emergencies now reside. So this is what is known and what is not. Open source monitors reported that 2 US aerial refueling aircraft may have declared emergencies near the Strait of Hormuz before dropping from civilian tracking. The wider Gulf region has been experiencing heavy GPS interference, but no public evidence has tied it directly to these reported aircraft incidents. Online trackers also flagged helicopter movement near Al-Udeid, though any connection remains unconfirmed. Washington has not publicly explained what happened. Iran has claimed it fired on US vessels and declared the strait closed. And the only publicly available data comes from open source monitors and flight tracking systems that military aircraft are designed to evade. The incidents may have explanations that are entirely technical and unrelated to the conflict. They may not. But in a theater where 2 countries are running rival naval operations, where electronic warfare is active, and where the margin between a warning shot and a kill shot is measured in seconds, reports of 2 tankers going silent on the same day are the kind of signal that demands an answer. And so far, no answer has come. Subscribe to WLA for daily geopolitical analysis.